Hello again everyone, this is Santo Taku with Team by the Trigger, bringing you another deck testing session. It's been a while since our last recorded match, but hopefully I'll be able to get you at least one a week for the next several weeks as we play with some new additions from the Rampage of the Beast King set, so look forward to that. As of right now, I have a match between Brony using his modified Angel Feather deck against Captain Showboat using the Bladewing Reggie Dark Irregulars deck. Enjoy! Okay, so on the left here with the pink sleeves, we have Brony flipping up his Hope Child Turiel, and on the right, starting off the match, we have Captain Showboat using Greedy Hand. He rides into the Midnight Bike of the Witching Hour, which is a very efficient play. He's going to want that card in his soul for later on. It becomes a really powerful booster. And then on the left-hand side here, Brony's riding into his Million Ray Pegasus, which will hit, and it looks like there's a critical as well. It snipes off a perfect guard, which is great. But that Cheshire Cat will keep things pretty even because that's the new heal trigger from the Rampage of the Beast King set. So after that, Captain Showboat will draw for turn, and it looks like he's going to think about it for a little while here. There's a lot of things he can do early on to start generating a big soul, which is going to be pretty important for a Darkwing Reggie deck. It looks like this is a very good start. He gets his Decadent Succubus and then a Flirtatious Succubus, so that's going to allow him to soul charge twice, with Decadent Succubus soul charging every time a unit is called to rearguard, and Flirtatious Succubus calling when it itself is called to rearguard. So that's +2 soul right there. Let's see if he can follow up with a little bit more. Oh, looks like he's not going to be able to. His Flirtatious Succubus will attack. That'll be a 9/7. Which would be an easy 5k block, but it looks like Brony will let it through. That'll put up his Million Ray to a 9k, but 9k on 9k plus 5k booster, so it's 14 on 9, it would be a 15k block, or a 10k block for him, so he doesn't let that through. So it looks like Brony loses 2 perfect guards there, which is not as serious as the perfect guard that Captain Showboat lost, simply because he can recover those from the damage zone. Especially with this build, his damage zone really becomes a second hand. He's not really afraid to send cards over there. And so we have a 16k attack from Core Memory. Looks like Showboat is letting that through. He gets a critical trigger, but there's no more attacks coming through. Brony will counterblast 2 to draw a card. So Showboat's turn, he will stand and draw, and so far it is a pretty even matchup here. He's going to ride into his Bladewing Reggie. This does not look like the best situation here. He does not have really any options for Bladewing Reggie's effect. Normally he'd be able to select one of his rear guards and send up to 3 copies from his deck into the soul. Greedy Hand is a 1 of because that's a starting vanguard, and it looks like Flirtatious Succubus is the only other card in play, and I know for a fact there's only one other in the deck. So that his soul is not as big as it could be at this point if he had another card there, but there's not a ton he can do about that. But for the time being, he does have a grade 3 Vanguard, which gives him a solid lead and is going to give him some solid hand advantage here. And he slightly increased his odds to get a trigger on future drives by taking a non-trigger out of the deck. So I guess that's something, right? So he's done shuffling. Brony will go ahead and cut. And we'll see how Captain Showboat follows up. Looks like he's following up with another Decadent Succubus, which does not do anything from rearguard, unfortunately. Which is a great turn 2 ride. Looks like he has a Yellow Bolt there, so he's going to start. Looks like he has a chance to start recovering more souls. He's just giving it a bit of a count there. He will use Yellow Bolt. Unfortunately, he loses the heal trigger to it. Nonetheless, he's still in pretty good shape here. He has a pretty decent sized field compared to Brony. And he doesn't have one of those annoying cards that gains power when it takes damage. So Decadent will attack first. Brony will let it through, followed by Reggie. And looks like Brony's thinking about it a little bit. Although if he was going to block, he probably would have wanted to block the easy 5k. And there's a crit trigger for Captain Showboat, so that's 2 more damage. And this is a very easy way to really negate Shamashil. At 5 damage, Shamashil is not going to be able to activate her effect anymore, making her essentially a 12k Vanguard. she's still pretty powerful with her limit break, and there she shows up now as his grade 3 ride, which is just perfect. And a Calamity Flame. So basically every time that Shamashil attacks, she's going to be able to take a card from the damage zone added to hand and one card from hand to the damage zone. And then every time a card is placed in the damage zone, she gains 2,000 power. So on the defense, she's like a 12k or 14k Vanguard if you play pretty conservatively early on. And oh, here comes an attack. There's going to be a 21k column because of the Million Ray getting the same effect, gaining 2,000 power. So it's 9 plus 12, a 21k against Reggie. And Captain Showboat just takes it because realistically he's only at 2 damage. He's not really too afraid right now. He loses a Succubus over there, Luring Succubus, which he could probably use right now. This Calamity Flame is at 12k. It gained 2,000 power because of the damage taken. That attack will hit, but a crit trigger goes off. And we have a 17k attack from the remaining Calamity Flame, which should be another easy guard. Yep, there it is. So, looks like Captain Showboat forgets to stand here. He's looking over his hand. And he's counting his soul. I can't imagine he's anywhere near 15 just based off the size of that stack. So he may be considering cross-riding into another Reggie or trying to decide what he wants to do this turn. Okay, looks like he's finally... Yeah, there you go. He's finally deciding to stand. And he rides in Dark King of the Abyss. This is a surprisingly underrated card, I would say. A lot of people sort of dismiss it as weaker than Amon, and to be honest, I did at first too. But I was speaking with Wimpley about this actually, and he pointed out that even though it doesn't have the continuous effect of Amon, the cost of its limit break gives 2 more soul to charge. And for a turn, it becomes this, unblockable menace. I think as of right now, that unit's probably in the 22-25k range all by himself without any boosters. If you were to use the limit break right now, so that's pretty crazy. And granted, Amon would be at that same range as well, but the 1,000 power makes him makes King of the Abyss slightly easier to guard. Makes your opponent work a little bit harder for boosters. And on top of that, the soul charge that he gives from the deck doesn't cost you field presence the way Amon's does. So that's pretty neat, and it's just basically another good way to set up for Reggie, and it's a good final turn push. Oh, okay, and so here we have King of the Abyss using his limit break. He will soul charge 2. He lost a second perfect guard there, which is unfortunate, but he also pulled another King of the Abyss out of the deck, so that's not so bad. And we have Decadent attacking with Yellow Bolt at 16, which will be a 10k guard from Brony over there. He cannot just take it the way he normally would. I think most Angel Feather decks with Shamashil would usually take the first attack in order to take damage to make their unit stronger, but he can't do it in this situation. Instead, it looks like he's going to use Naciel. This is the unofficial 7k guard for Angel Feather. When it put it in the guard zone, you can swap a card from the damage zone with a card in hand. And so that's going to make Shamashil a 14k monster. So it's going to be pretty rough to get over and make pretty decent columns. But this King of the Abyss is also pretty ridiculous right now based off the size of that stack. If I remember correctly, he was at 24, 25k, but that's something that a perfect guard can't fix. And we have a draw trigger on the right-hand column, so that Flirtatious Succubus is now a 19k against a 14, so that's still going to force a 10k guard from Brony over there. And looks like he has it. That's no problem. Being able to modify your hand is a really great part of Angel Feather, and they can just do it so well in this new set. Even their starting Vanguard allows them to swap a card for a counterblast, so that's pretty awesome. So Shamashil attacks again, another 21k column, and he swaps. Looks like he got a perfect guard to hand. And it's up to Captain Showboat to block this attack right now. He's only at 4, so realistically he can start taking attacks, but you usually don't want to take the Vanguard's attack at 4 damage. A critical trigger would change everything. So he puts down a 2 to pass. There's a draw trigger. He and it looks like Brony's going to put it on the Calamity Flame that's unboosted, and another perfect guard. And here comes another 17 at the Vanguard. So that'll be another 10k block, or if it were me, I'd probably just take this one, to be honest. Because you don't want to. You usually want to take one of the middle attacks on the turn. You want the last attack to be blocked in case there's a good trigger there or something. And it looks like, well, inexplicably he guarded that attack, and then Brony also attacks the Flirtatious Succubus, and Showboat will guard it. So that's a very strange play, I guess. Showboat may not have any more attackers to drop down, but I'm not sure why Brony went ahead and attacked that 9k. So we have an Emblem Master. That'll be a good way to generate some soul if it can land a hit. It's probably going to need to go after some rear guards in order to do so. And because there is no counterblast up, the King of the Abyss cannot use its limit break, which is unfortunate. It's going to be an 11k. He starts off his battle phase and he attacks for 16, which obviously Brony is going to have to block or it's game over. He's been up against the wall for a while now, so let's see what type of cards he has in hand to be able to block out. So after a bit of deliberation here, he has no interceptors. It's sort of hard to tell how many cards he has in hand based off the view of the camera. There we go. There's a perfect guard. And now we have King of the Abyss attacking at 11k. And a simple 10k block would be a 2 to pass. So that's probably what I expect to see here. Oh, okay. Looks like another perfect guard. And a Reggie is driven and a Witching Hour. So there is no triggers there. This is a 14 against a rear guard. I guess Captain Showboat is trying to alleviate some of the incoming pressure, but it's going to be a little bit too late for him, I think. That was an easy 5k guard. And here comes another 21 at the Vanguard. Unfortunately for Captain Showboat, he is at 4 damage, so he has a little bit of breathing room. But based off, he drew a 5k shield and no shield on his last drive. Okay, yeah, there's a crit trigger, so not being able to guard there is really going to cost him. He needs a heal trigger now, and it did not come. Tough luck for Captain Showboat, but it was a well-fought game on both sides. I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you did, please like, favorite, and subscribe as you see fit. I also encourage you to check out our blog with updates every Monday, Thursday, and Friday. You'll find a link in the description below. Lastly, if you folks have any specific games you want to see, like Royal Paladins versus Great Nature, or a special rules game where players start with 2 damage and play up to 8, leave a comment below and we'll try and get those up for you as soon as possible. Thank you all for watching. This is Santo Taku. Until next time.